It is the story that just keeps on giving, isn't it? Donald Trump's taxes are still in the spotlight. The New York Times is reporting that Trump's 1995 tax records showed a $916 million loss. Now, apart from showing a bad year for the businessman, the report says it could have paved the way for him to avoid paying federal income taxes for up to 18 years. Now, remember, Trump is the Republicans' candidate for the presidential election next month, and his friends and foes have been quick to react.
We talk about the rigged system out there. Donald Trump embodies that, the idea that he didn't have to pay taxes for 20 years, or at least that's what the New York Times is telling us. So we feel very good about where we are, but this will be competitive up until the end, and we're going to have to work hard.
He's a genius. What he did was he took advantage of something that could save his enterprise, and he did something we admire in America. He came back. He probably is better positioned than anyone to figure out how to do away with it because he understands the tax code better than anyone else. I'd rather have a genius who understands the tax code, that wants to reform it. He's the one who's against giving hedge fund guys the big break they get and paying only 15% tax.
Okay, let's bring in our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, now joins us from Paris. Craig, I love listening to Americans and the hyperbole they come up with. Apparently a genius, and we should all admire it. The other contributor said it shows it's a rigged system. Generally speaking, what do Americans make of this?
The view in America is, how did he pull off this magic? And as any magician will tell you, a magic trick requires 3 elements. The first is the pledge, something ordinary, in this case, a tax form. Next comes the turn, when you take the ordinary and make it extraordinary, which in this instance is to show how you've lost nearly $1 billion. But that's not enough. A magic trick requires the final element called the prestige. And that was, how do you bring that money back? Abracadabra. What Trump did was combine the tax benefits under Section 1231 of the IRS code with exemptions provisions in Section 108. Gobbledygook? Yeah, if you're not a tax wonk. But that was the magic, and it allowed him to file a nearly $1 billion net operating loss that he could legitimately use to avoid paying income tax. And the beauty of this is that the United States Congress wrote the legislation that allowed him to pull off this trick.
Look, Craig, Donald Trump isn't the man to take things like this lying down. What's he been saying?
Well, he's been staying up late into the night, tweeting away that this is completely legitimate, what he's doing, and he's correct. You know, Bertolt Brecht in Three Penny Opera said, eats first, morals later. He's feasting right now, and his belief is that the American public could care less about this. But Matthew, there's also, we haven't seen all of Trump's taxes, but there's another legal issue percolating here. And that is, had Trump, we believe, not taken advantage of these loopholes, his partners and creditors, et cetera, could have sued him for not taking advantage of him. That would have costed him more
Only in America,
money.
right? Craig, either way, if he did make this loss and he used it, or, it is going to dent his image as a businessman. Okay, yes, he may have used it in a genius fashion to help him with his tax situation, but the massive loss surely reflects on his business acumen.
Well, clearly, but that's up to the American public to decide. And as Trump has said, he's not running a political party, he's running a political movement. So the jury's out on whether this is affecting them. And the other thing here that's important to know, Matthew, we were up last night going through Hillary Clinton's website, where she has her own tax returns, which she's made public. No surprise, she utilized the same dynamic in 2015 to save her money. Abracadabra. Welcome to the Internal Revenue Service.
All right, Craig, thank you very much for that analysis as ever. Appreciate the magic comparison.